Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and I am here today at Ogma Brewing Company with Andrew Volk, one of the owners of Ogma. Thanks so much for having us.
Of course. Thanks for coming out. Yeah. We like having guests.
We are in Jackson, Michigan, downtown Jackson, by the way, in case I didn't mention that. So one thing that we'd like to ask to everybody that we kind of come across with these is Ogma Brewing, right? How did you guys come up with the name, and were there any alternate ideas that you had before?
Oh, the name. Well, it was like a 3 to 6 week painful experience of choosing the name. You know, we wanted to have initially something that tied into Jackson. We have one of the oldest railroad stations in Michigan right down the street. So we're thinking in terms of like train type things. And eventually we kind of moved on from that and got into like the mythological god area.
Okay, as you do.
Yes, it's the natural next step. And we started looking at names that were shorter and brandable and easy to remember.
Yeah.
Came across Ogma, O-G-M-A, and dove into him a little bit. Ogma is the Celtic god of language and communication. The whole ethos of this place is being a community spot. And one of the major pillars of community is communication. We tied into that, we liked that. Turned out he was a bit of a badass. A lot of his, visual images of him out there. So that checked off the box as well. And a bunch of things just kind of lined up, and we rolled with Ogma Brewing Company.
Generally, I like to go from here is to ask, what the background of the brewers are and everything. But I wanted to mention this spot is, we've been here. This is my third time being here now, and everything in this place feels so deliberate. Like there was a lot of thought into the artwork that's on the wall, from the way things are painted to the brickwork here. I followed you guys from 2019 when you started posting stuff on Instagram, and it's very clear that a lot of work went into this place. What is like the aesthetic, or why do things feel so deliberate here, I guess is the question.
Well, I mean, you got to look at Kevin, one of the owners. He's been a carpenter for 23 plus years. He's very detail oriented.
You kind of have to be in that line of work.
You really do, and we're lucky to have him as part of Ogma. But as far as the design and layout goes, it was all very thoughtful. We wanted to bring in elements of places that we've lived before, out west, kind of California skater culture,
right?
Chicago, sort of like the beams overhead, sort of like the old kind of plant warehouse feel in a lot of ways. We're very proud of how it turned out. We did put a lot of time into the feel in here, the lighting, just the general vibe.
It's really striking, like really breathtaking. And when you mentioned the part about it being like a community hub, when you come in here, you feel like the first time I came in here, it was a lot of people in here, and you just feel like you're at home.
Yeah, that's great.
That's an awesome feeling. There's so many places that it's just kind of people feel like they just kind of throw whatever, and that's where it landed, so that's what it's going to be. But everything feels, like I said, just really deliberate.
Yeah, and absolutely. You mentioned the art, and that's something we focus on. A few nights a year, we kind of fancy ourselves as an art museum. We'll hold a few exhibits for artists over the course of the year, and then their work will sort of be on display for 6 months to 8 months. But on that night, their opening reception, we really do treat ourselves like we're a museum for them, and treat the artists for a nice evening. So
yeah. You're not specifically a brewer here, right?
So I am not.
Okay.
I do a lot of the branding and the community building and things like that. Troy Kraft is the brewer. He's been at it now for 13 years, right around there. He spent eight of those years at Dark Horse Brewing in Marshall. Mm-hmm. He leads the brewing here.
Do you have a specific vibe or a specific feel that you want to accomplish with both your food and your beer? Like I said, I've been here a few times now, and it's very eclectic. Like the food menu's a very fusion kind of centric. You mix different cultures and different styles of food together, ingredients and everything. Yeah. But the beer is like, you've got IPAs, you've got New Englands, you've got stouts, you've got lagers.
Yep.
What's kind of the philosophy behind all that?
Troy has always brewed what he likes, what he wants to brew. It's whether it's what's kind of popping right now,
right,
or if it's just some classics that beers that he enjoys. The dark lager, and we've done pilsners, kolsches, things that any wide range age group have experienced at some point in their life. So, eclectic is a good word for it on the beer side and the food side. But, with beer, it's always going to be things that Troy wants to brew, or things that whoever is brewing at the time wants to brew here. Right. And the important part is the quality. And I think that's where we really hammer home. We invested in equipment that results in quality. Troy's got the art of brewing down. I mean, he's a mad scientist when it comes to it at times. So.
You kind of need that too.
Absolutely. And then on the food side, Thomas Kale is our head chef, and he came in here and we gave him the reins, build what you want as far as the food goes, and he nailed some staples. Our braised beef nachos are just sort of like that. When you walk into a brewery, a lot of people go for that IPA first. Yeah. People come in here and they kind of gravitate towards something that feels familiar to them, but the nachos are over the top. Visit 2, 3, 4, you kind of go down the path of our menu that maybe you haven't gone down before, through, whatever the special might be. We do a lot of ramen bowls. Our Polish fried rice is a huge hit.
That's
here.
what I was going to bring up. Yeah, that's really good. I had that last time.
Sushi bowl, spicy sushi bowl. So we do hop around in that field too. And really the goal, same as the beer, quality, things that maybe people haven't tried in Jackson at least. So just bringing something new to the table.
You all officially announced, I think, was it 2019 that you formally announced that you were going to be in this space, and obviously everything that happened there? Honestly, the timeline is a little gray, but I know that we found this location in the summer of 2018, and we started meeting on a regular basis around then. Officially, publicly announced May of 2019 by way of, a Kickstarter campaign. Our friends over at Grand River Brewing actually hosted an event for us, which I think that just really says a lot about the craft beer culture. Yeah, absolutely.
Another brewery is going to let an up-and-coming brewery or a new brewery come in and announce their intentions. So 2019 launched a Kickstarter campaign.
I noticed that's one thing from talking to different people, different breweries around, and even before, going to festivals and interviewing people, that's one thing that I think is very different about craft beer compared to other industries where it's like, hey, I'm going to open this place. Do you have any advice? Is there any? And people seem, I don't obviously have inside information, but it seems like there's always this really large contingency of other brewers, other breweries that are really happy to help out someone else. Mm-hmm. Whereas other industries might be, hey, this is a competitor. I'm not giving you any information. Buzz off, go somewhere else.
Exactly. I think you realize that, what's the point of trying to, tear someone else down? Yeah. That's taking away from your energy to build what you're doing. Yeah. That's just sort of the obvious part. But like you said, the community in beer, helping each other helps everyone. More people that are having good experiences at breweries, awesome for breweries as a whole.
It just kind of breeds more positivity, which there's not enough of that in the world, to be honest about it. You started 2018, you found this place, 2019 was kind of the official announcement. I'm sure you worked on this place through 19, 20, and when you finally get ready to open in 21, and this is something I'm always really curious about, what are some of the issues that popped up that you didn't plan for once you opened that were instant priority where, we didn't brew enough, or this isn't right, or we have to fix this? Are there anything like that came up?
Well, it's very strange to go from building and getting licensing and physically building the space out, ordering tanks and building community and all this stuff we came very familiar with and used to for over the course of 3 years. Right. But none of that was actually running a brewery. Yeah. So, and none of us have owned a restaurant or a brewery or anything like that before this. So clicking over to being open and operating, it's very different. It was very, very frankly kind of scary because we knew we built a great spot. We knew the beer was going to be great. We were learning that our food menu was going to be pretty sick, and suddenly it was time to go. So we relied heavily on our staff.
Yeah.
And we were so fortunate to pull in some of the most experienced, sort of well-liked front of house folks and kitchen folks in this area because they wanted to work here. They wanted to be at Ogma. They wanted to, be a part of something new. So we relied extremely heavily on just our staff to help us get through that first wave.
So currently, you guys have been open it's been a little over a year, almost. Yeah,
we opened we chose the night before Thanksgiving because why not? Nothing really happens that night. But honestly, that's just the timing. We did some private events for like our Mug Club members and all that prior to opening to the public. But night before Thanksgiving 2021 was opening day.
So you obviously off to the races now. It's 2023, early 2023.
Sure.
What are some of the ideas that you guys have like for the future going forward? I mean, you can come in, you can get crowlers, you can get growlers, you can get all that kind of typical stuff that you can get at breweries, but do you have plans for distribution? Do you have expansion plans? I mean, it might be too early to ask that question, but...
It's not. I mean, we're right on the cusp of diving into all of that. So the first thing you notice when you come in is it's a small, intimate, cozy spot. So size, has certainly been a limitation for us. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take much on a Friday or Saturday to fill the spot up, which is great because when it's full, that's when like the vibe is at its peak in here, and it's wonderful. But that has kind of forced our hand on whichever types of expansion we can handle at this point, and that is kind of blended to the fact that we purchased a little plot of land next to our building for a beer garden this summer.
Oh, that's cool.
So so we're gonna have an outdoor beer garden next door. This will be kind of first summer phase 1, bare bones seating, and just a spot for people to go when it's full in here, or if it's just nice out. It's a spot that gets plenty of sunlight throughout the day, so it should be a good time out there. So the beer garden's a big step for this year. More on the beer side, we just purchased a canner. Okay. We've been doing a lot of like single on-demand canning with our little October sealer, which has been great. But you get a busy night going and someone wants to get 8 cans, it can derail the system a bit. We're getting a canner so we can have beers pre-canned, ready to go out the door, grab and go. It's a huge step for us. It's going to allow us to get our cans to other places with ease. Whether it's just festivals or even our beer garden, just it's more flexibility with beer. Another big thing we're excited about is we're starting our barrel age program this year. Actually, the first beer for it, Imperial Stout, was just brewed and it's going to barrel soon. So to make that happen, we also needed more room because the brewery is beautifully laid out in the most efficient way. We're getting every square inch is used back there, but there's no room for barrel racks. So we've got a nice little warehouse spot lined up, and that's going to allow for some dry storage, barrel racks, and just allowing us to sort of like exhale and spread our wings a little bit as far as storage goes. So that canner, warehouse space, and beer garden are our ambitious goals for this year, while maintaining what we're building in here.
Regular and business as usual kind of stuff too.
Yep. So it's an exciting year ahead. It's a little bit like, oh man, can't we just ride out this another year and see how it goes? But we're very like comfortable and just thankful and happy with how things have gone, and we only see it continuing to grow. So,
and that's one thing I don't think people realize is when all this front of the house stuff, this is one set of space, but there's so much room that you need to be able to do the stuff that feeds this front of the house.
Absolutely. I mean, and we always go back to our original vision. That Kickstarter I mentioned, we made a video for it, and I can't tell you how many times like I'll go back to that in a given month and just be like, it's like our manifesto. It's like our North Star, that video, which is crazy because that was done in 2018 before any of this happened. And I think it's just cool to stick to your vision, and all these things that we're trying to do in 2023 are part of that original vision.
How much did the pandemic and everything derail your plans? Did you think that you would be done earlier, or do you think it kind of helped because it gave you the space to build stuff out? Or
it's interesting when it hit. March 2020 literally was right when we were going to start demo and build out.
Yeah.
And luckily, Kevin, one of the owners, is the carpenter and was going to be handling the demo and the start of the build out internally on our own anyway. So, there were some dark, weird days, obviously, for everyone in the world in that March 2020. But in here, Troy and Kevin are brothers. Yeah. And they essentially isolated themselves in this space doing demo and some of the framework. Yeah, we ran into some issues later down the road when we needed contractors who were backed up or not accepting jobs. Yeah, it's good, or I mean, I don't know what to tell you. The timeline is the timeline. We opened when we opened. Yeah. Am I happy we didn't open and put tons of energy into opening right before lockdown? I'm very happy about that, yes. But, it's something everyone had to navigate in whatever position they were, whether they're open, not open, just starting, been open for 25 years. Everybody
had to pivot as to how they're going to operate.
Yeah, no one
being open or not.
Right, no one just went on with their business.
Oh, cool, this is perfect. Yeah. This is just what we wanted. Yeah. Just how we wanted to go. We're in Jackson. Yeah. I think Jackson has a stigma on it with the prison being here. Okay. Or, what do you think that has any impact on the brewery at all?
It is absolutely something, we're known for. It's the largest walled prison in the area, but it employs a ton of people. Yeah. And, it's part of Jackson. We've got a great steel company here, employs tons of people, the prison, the hospital, consumers. We have some huge companies here. I don't know. I think if anything, it gives Jackson character.
Yeah, absolutely.
As far as the growth you mentioned, absolutely. Downtown is exploding.
Yeah, just driving through here.
We have an incredible mural festival in town. Businesses are popping up. Money's being poured downtown, obviously along 94, all the growth. I think part of us opening was truly knowing that Jackson was on the cusp of some great things, and we're just hoping to add to that.
Driving through here, it's there are tons of restaurants here. It's and murals everywhere. Yeah, so it's beautiful. Yeah, it's awesome just to come down here and be like, oh, okay, it's not just where the prison is. There's all this other stuff going on here that.
Yeah, Jackson went through 25-year span that kind of gave it its name to this generation, but I think the last 5 years, 10 years, been digging out of that, and I can tell you we're bringing people into Jackson here. Yeah. So I know there's other things in Jackson that are attracting people out of town as well.
Yeah. And like I said, it's just it's cool to see. It's you almost think of it for me, again, being here, I've said it I don't know how many times now, but we can make a drinking game out of it. But how many times I've been here, it's it feels like an extension, and maybe for better or for worse, but almost feels like an extension of Ann Arbor. Sure. It's not that far away. It's just half an hour down the road, if that.
Yeah, no doubt.
And you feel it. It feels really kind of metropolitan. Very on the move. You can see that there's progress being made just right around here.
It's a good time.
So we're back here with Courtney, the bar manager here at Ogma Brewing Company. Courtney, thanks for coming on. Thanks for taking time away from the bar to kind of talk to us.
No problem.
What are some of your favorite beers that they serve on tap here?
My ultimate favorite is one of the ones we've had from the beginning. It's called Sabro Cadabra. It has hints of tropical fruits and coconut in it from the Sabro hop that he uses. Mm-hmm. All of our beer are really good. There's not really a bad one that he's done so far. If you ask him, he'll say otherwise because he's very critical of himself, but he does a great job. Starting here, I had no idea that our beer was going to be some of the best beer in town or ever, to be honest. Right? It's great beer.
It is, yeah, for sure. That's what keeps the people coming back, I guess.
Yeah.
What are What's the turnover like on the beer? Like, how quickly do you go through stuff?
It just depends on the beer, honestly. We have some that last a couple months. We have some that have run out in 2 weeks. So, I mean, word gets around when something good comes on. Usually people rush in here to get it. And there are certain ones that we don't offer to go for that very reason, so that everyone has a chance to come in and try it. We offer it in-house only, and which, I mean, gives people the opportunity to come in, grab some food, have a beer.
Right.
Not just be able to run out the door, you know?
I think you had a holiday stout recently, like a Christmas stout or something.
Yeah, the Yule Lord, our sweet stout.
That
We
was
still
really
have that
good.
one on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll probably have one of those before we leave. What's your experience in the industry? Is this? I'm assuming this isn't your first.
No, this is
go around.
probably the third restaurant that I've bartended, managed at. It's my favorite one so far.
Yeah.
I really like the atmosphere. I love the owners. They're all great. We have a super awesome staff that's very reliable, very family-like, which is nice when working in a place like this, you know?
Yeah, if you didn't like each other, it'd probably be a long day at work.
Exactly.
And I'm sure, we've all worked in places like that. What's the general vibe of the tap room here?
It's a very chill vibe, I guess would be the best way to put it. It's very low-key, very not Jackson-like is what a lot of people say, which not that, I mean, I don't have anything wrong with Jackson by any means, but a lot of people say that it gives more of like a Detroit or like a big city vibe because it's just such a cool spot that people can come hang out and kind of feel like they're separated from real life, you know?
Right.
It's nice.
Yeah, that's one thing that coming in here, the first time I came in here, you feel very at home. Like the instant you walk in, staff is really inviting. So you don't feel like, I don't know, I think people that come in that might not be into craft beer don't really know what to expect. And we've all been to places where it's kind of just like they have the front area of a warehouse or something that you feel like you're drinking out of, but this feels so warm and inviting. You just want to come here.
Oh, definitely. It's very welcoming. And there's a lot of people that come in here that say they don't like beer, and I get them to try something, and 9 times out of 10, they'll drink something that we have on because there's always something for everyone.
What's the go-to when someone says, I like Miller Lite?
Our Hesher Sweat. It's a dry hop lager that we have. So, I mean, anything that's light is similar to that, I would say. Most people.
Do you get a lot of that? People come in that don't really know what they're looking for, but they just want to check it out?
Not super often, but often enough.
Or someone comes with someone else and they're like, they like seltzers. What do they like?
Which I would offer our Soul Whip. It's more sweet, pineapple, coconut.
Oh, that's a New England.
That's the New England that we have. Which they say it's a New England, but it's a little more, I don't know. I've tried to tell people, don't let the New England IPA part scare you because it's not bitter like an IPA. It's very smooth, very good.
Do you find a lot of people come in that don't know necessarily that New England means like it's going to be sweeter,
hazy.
A little bit more? Yeah, hazy.
Yeah, sometimes.
More accessible.
Yeah, I would even consider ours not even just hazy though, just more sweet.
Yeah.
Which most New Englands tend to be hazy and citrusy, but this one's more
on the sweeter side.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Soul Whip, kind of playing on the Dole Whip kind of thing, right?
Yeah, that's what they did there.
Hey, it worked. You guys have a very diverse, eclectic menu. Are there favorite food items that people come in for?
Oh yeah, our beef dip. We sell a ton of those. It's kind of our twist on like a French dip.
Right.
They use braised beef. He adds like a muffaletta olive spread to it. And then it comes with au jus for dipping.
Okay.
That's kind of like one of our staple lunch items. People love that for lunch because it's a nice, easy sandwich.
Yeah.
You know?
Not too messy, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. For the sushi lovers, we have a sushi bowl that is outstanding. It's like one of the most beautiful bowls of food I've ever seen. And then we also have a Polish fried rice that we sell a ton of. Yeah. Just kind of a weird concoction, but it works.
It's like a nice fusion. Everything on the menu seems, it's not all just straight, not in a bad way, but it's not all straightforward. It's like a fusion of different styles. With Polish fried rice, you think of being maybe like Asian inspired and Polish. So I'm sure that I had that, and there was like a wet burrito or something that you guys had previously that
was really good too.
Really good. Yeah. I think Andrew was talking about like the nachos, like beef braised nachos. Is that what it is?
Yeah, those are really popular too. They're super good. And we also offer, you can swap the chips out for rice now on the menu and make it a rice bowl instead.
Oh, nice.
That's been pretty popular as well.
Yeah.
The nice thing is we change our menu often, usually seasonally or as often as we can get products through our distributor.
Right.
Which some people don't like that about us, but a lot of people love that about us because it's always something different they can try.
Yeah, that's like if you go to, if you think of smaller breweries, sometimes it's because the beer doesn't change over very much. It gets kind of like samey.
Yeah.
I want to come in and try something different. A place that has a lot of taps can kind of go through that stuff. And I feel like food, it could be the same way. Like you said, some people might be the thing I really like isn't here anymore, but it
Right.
could be like, there might be a new thing I want to try.
Definitely.
And everything I've tried here has been like awesome. So it doesn't,
Yeah.
you're not getting a wrong choice unless
No.
you just like don't like some specific thing about it. So
Right. And we offer specials too. Usually every weekend they do a new special and a soup of the day, and there's always something for someone.
cool. So what do you guys have coming up, or something you're excited about that you have going on the next couple months?
Well, like I mentioned with the beer garden, that's going to born some events. We're really honing in on this skateboard-centric event with vendors, and we're hoping to bring in some regional skaters and beer and good times and food and music. So some type of skate jam is sort of in the making for this year. But in general, I'm excited for growth. I'm excited for new faces discovering us. I'm excited for downtown Jackson as a whole. I think it's really on that growth pattern. But I'm excited for our team here. I feel like I know that we have one of the best in Jackson. We're reminded of it constantly by way of reviews or people literally saying, keep that person here. This person does so good. We love this person. We love her. We love him. So I'm just excited for our internal team to continue to, find their place here and grow. And, with growth, you need more people. So just growth in general, very much looking forward to.
And that's one thing too, when you go in a place, it'll instantly make you feel like you're at home, so to speak, as if the staff, good beer is obviously one thing. People come for good beer, but they return because the service is good and they feel like they're treated, like they're at their place,
You and I feed off the staff and what they're feeling and putting out. So it is truly everything. And, places get busy and, maybe you'll notice a little more like time for certain things, but as long as you're treated well and you're informed,
you can kind of overlook some of the negative stuff. That even small things, it's like, okay, well, I know they're busy. They're treating me like a human being.
Yeah, absolutely.
For lack of a better term.
Anything when you have a beer in your hand goes a little smoother.
Right. Yeah.